that the Mint is releasing, in particular this year for the semi-quincentennial. But the big spenders they're the ones that are buying the pre-1933 numismatics that some of them don't see the light of day. They only come to auction once every few decades, some of these coins. And that's where you get into, like, for the most part, high-end auctions. And so the auctions around the country have been, they're breaking records. Every, the Central States auction, the Central States numismatic show just I think it was last month, and that was a record-breaking show. We have the fun show, Summer Fun, Florida United Numismatics up in Orlando, coming in July, and so that I'm sure records will be broken at that. So it's there's no slowdown for the good stuff, the quality stuff. That's what people that have the means, and they really enjoy the hobby and the investment angle. And so they're the ones that are dropping significant dollars on these coins. But you could tell very quickly how savvy a person is in the world of numismatics just by how they speak and the verbiage and lingo that's used. So, that's a long answer, but
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I'm like that too with, like, in many of my business, like how they approach, what kind of verbiage they use, like, are they knowledgeable in what they're purchasing? And it really, kind of cuts the pack in that sense. Like, it's hard to, if somebody already, it's like when I was in the selling computers, I still do it, but like, when the difference between someone buying like a lower end laptop or like a MacBook Pro, they already know what they're buying. They know the hardware. They know the MacBook Pro does everything they need. I'm just there, a lot of times, like, to facilitate that, but like, I'm building that relationship with them. They came to me and, like, you want a personal, kind of connection, but like having that knowledge and knowing what they want and what they're interested in, it's just, I'm basically just guiding them at that point. It's not like a hard sale, like, oh, you have to buy this and this is, like, if anything, I'm educating them, like, on what things are, rather than going, oh, well, just kind of like this uphill battle of like, oh, you should buy this because of this and this, and I want to be able to enhance their experience. I want to be able to offer them something, either one, they're curious, they might not know, but they're already on that path. So it's just a lot easier to, one, work with them, and two, like, connect with them on a personal level. They're like, hey, this is something I'm interested in. These are things I look for, It kind of, translates across the board. So,
but I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
But as far as getting customers, like, back on what we were saying earlier, there's different methods, especially nowadays with I'm going to sound old, but like with the internet and social media, I've been doing this before that, and in those days it was really just the phone. That's how you got customers. You bought leads, you picked up the phone, and you cold called coin buyers, and hoping that you'll strike a good conversation with someone. You have a good product that you could sell them. You start with one transaction, and then hopefully that turns to 2, then 3, then 4. But the business has changed so much nowadays, where even just calling out, which we still do some of. There's a lot of spam blockers because it's just become so prolific of everyone's getting spam, and so that's kind of slowed down that side of bringing in new customers. So you have to adapt, as a business. If you don't adapt, you become extinct. And so now we do, we get a lot of leads, and they turn a good amount of them from the show. It's one of the reasons we started the show, not only because we both like coins and talking about coins and numismatics and these kinds of things, but to educate, but also for brand awareness and to generate new customers for the business. So there's You never know where a customer, referrals are always in any business the best. A
Mm,
referral is the best. That's the best kind of lead you can get because it's coming from someone who knows that person who's already vouched for you, basically. And so that's huge. And we get a good amount of referrals. Um, being where we are in Palm Beach County, there's just so much wealth down here, and where there's
mm,
wealth, there's collectors, and so I'll be out and I'll wear one American coin currency shirt, and I'll just be standing in line sometimes somewhere, or sometimes I'll just be out at dinner, sitting at the bar having dinner, and strike up a conversation with someone, and hey, what do you do? What do you do? Next thing you know, and this has happened many times, they're buying coins from me or bullion. Um, one of my salespeople here, who's remote, he's moving back to Minnesota. The
mm.
person he's renting his house from just is buying coins from him now. So that's a slow
Wow.
trickle, but you just never know where customers are going to come from as far as that angle of it. But you have to focus on brand awareness, building your brand, and getting that brand in front of people's eyes. And nowadays, it's in my mind, like, social media is still a great resource, and
Mm,
it does work, but there's so much noise on social media now. Like, you have to be
mm,
doing something extraordinary to grab someone's attention, right?
yeah.
And so um, we go back to basics sometimes, where now it's just
Mm,
picking up the phone, call there's calling certain leads that can be purchased, which are people who have they're called opt-in leads. They saw something online and they filled out a
mm,
form, things like that, but they're looking specifically for certain items. um, yeah, so there's just it's a constant race to get new leads, new customers. We're in a business, Dustin, where our customer base, their average age, I would say, is in the 60s, you
mm,
know, low 60s. But a lot of our customers are older, and every month or two, a good customer of ours, we find out, he either is in a nursing home now, or has cancer or Parkinson's, or dropped dead, unfortunately, passed away, I should say. And
mm.
so, that's difficult because you always need to be replacing those customers with new customers. And we do a lot of business on eBay. We get a lot of customers through eBay. We also get a lot of customers through the organizations that we are members of, the ANA. Some
Mhm.
of my best customers and leads come through the ANA. PCGS, NGC, and CAC. Uh, all of the I'm not sure about CAC, but definitely PCGS and NGC. You can go
Mhm.
on there and you'll find a dealer. Well, it is on CAC as well. Find a dealer
Yeah.
near you, emit coins, an authorized dealer, and so we get a lot of lead flow through that. And it's also just going to shows and meeting buyers, meeting people that are, if you're at a coin show, obviously you buy coins. You're not there for any other reason. You have interest in coin. So all of it takes a lot of effort, but it's very rewarding when you can help a customer to fulfill a desire or a vision that they have, to complete
Mhm.
a set of some kind, or to get them a piece that they've been looking for a long time and just haven't been able to find it.
Mhm.
And then when you can do that for them, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people are wanting to collect sets, and these key dates. We had some key dates and their clients that recently interested. And yeah, it's good. It feels good to be able to help them. Like I, we have coins that are rare and hard to access, low population, And a lot of people either one, the price is so high it's just unattainable, or working with us, we offer very good competitive pricing, um, and having access to these key date coins, like it's just it's a match made in heaven per se, I guess to say. And a lot of these people just contact me directly and working with them, and yeah, it's nice to be able to help them on their path. We're all happy. They're happy they found something that's difficult to find, and I'm able to make a good client. And a lot of these clients are coming back now. Like they're interested in more things. They're interested in other coins. Maybe then something modern. But yeah, it's interesting how some of these clients come from different places. I've got most of them on eBay, but sometimes I just kind of stumble upon them on different platforms, or they message us on social media, Instagram or Facebook or X. People are starting to get on there and contact me too, and it's just it's a different it's like the same premise. Like, you obviously at the end of the day, like you have like a personal connection with selling these people. Like, that's what really is the blood of what happens. But like getting them to that point, on social media, yeah, like you said, it's just there's just so much noise. There's so many people doing it. And we don't know what kind of dealers they are. And so obviously there's a lot of like, well-known ones, but in our bracket per se of dealers, like we're at such a higher point, in comparison, like, than these people. But they may make more noise. They might show up a little bit more because they've been doing it for quite a bit, at least on the social media platform side. But at the end of the day, you're talking to the client. You're unless they're doing transactions directly on eBay, it's like a lot of times I'm talking to them and getting to know them personally. So using these funnels, I think that's a big, like, there's money on the table. Obviously, you're going to use all these funnels, social media platforms, website, eBay. But it's just really coming down to connecting with them and being able to actually make that sale. So, that's back to the basics, be able to have people skills, very social, understanding your client, knowing their background, even creating, like you mentioned before, at a meeting, creating a bio of these people, like, getting to know them personally. So, I always keep tabs on these people, keep up with them, call them, just personal conversations. Doesn't have to be about any coins, and then, a little bit, hey, this is what we're getting, this is what we're doing. You're interested in something. Yeah. So you just got to have a personal touch. And if you don't have that, it's just going to rub people the wrong way. It's going to come off very, oh, I want your money, that kind of thing. You want to be their friend, essentially. So,
absolutely. Yeah. And in the business, we call that no money calls.
Yeah.
Right? You're just calling to you're not selling anything. You're not offering anything. You're just calling to shoot the shit and it's just,
nice. It's nice. I like it.
One thing that's crazy in this business, and I'm not sure if it's unique to this business, but most of our customers have multiple dealers they work with, and they buy from multiple dealers. And I mean, some of them have 5+ dealers that they work with, and they buy a lot. And to me, and so it's like, my thought is like, okay, so how do we get this client, how do we get them to concentrate more on us? And the only way to do that is becoming their friends and giving them a level of customer service and attention that the other people that they're working with are not giving them. That's really the only way, because price is important, but it's not the end all be all. And I've said it many times on the show, I don't want to be the guy known to have the cheapest prices, because that's not how we operate. We are a full service firm. We do much more than just give good pricing. We're very competitive, but let me just say this: anything that we sell in house, we always price check when we get it in off of eBay, and eBay is like our high watermark. So we're always looking to sell a little under what eBay pricing is, if we can, if the same coin if the comps are up on eBay, if the same coins are being sold up on eBay, we're always lower than eBay. And there's a couple of companies out in the industry that have TV shows, and they do very, very, very well. They've been around for decades, but like I've told customers who buy from them as well as they buy from us, putting on that production is not cheap. They have to get the money from somewhere, and guess where the money's coming from? It's coming from you, because they're going to mark up the coins. They're going to pad the price of their coins to afford to pay for a high production TV show. So we're always able to do better pricing than any TV coin dealers can, and that just keeps us nimble. I like being nimble. I like low overhead business that affords us to not only pass on savings to our customers, but also just allows us to be unique in this business, where we are able to offer things that other dealers don't offer, like free appraisals, the discounts on coin grading, free research. These things are wildly important. Free research in and of itself. I mean, Dustin, that the research is key, and some of the things are in old books. They're not even online. I mean, I have books in my office that are thousands of dollars because they only published a few hundred of them, but there's really good information in there, and you can't find that information online. So it's important.
Yeah, I want to touch on like how you mentioned about if it's similar in other industries. There is some similarities, but in this case, it's a little different. You could say like a distributor, somebody purchasing. I was in the e-commerce business, but like, I don't know. When it comes to like electronics, to me, it just seems less personal because it's like such a technical thing. In comparison to like coins, it's just there's a huge personal touch because it's like you can buy a computer, but it's outdated in like 6 months. But you can buy a coin, it's going to always hold that value, and then there's a significance over time. And in itself is a piece of art. It's a talking piece. So yeah, there's a huge difference, like the collectible side and like I guess most like industries when it comes to like distribution and whatnot. And I've run into that too. Like my clients will have like 2 or 3 people they're buying coins from, and or one of them like kind of stops getting like better coins. They're getting like MS69, 68s, and they're like, "Whoa, I can't do that." I'm looking only for 70. So yeah, I've run into that as well. But yeah, I think it is different. I would say it is different than most kind of industry or distribution channels.
Well, if you're a good storyteller, you'll be a good coin dealer. Because really, what we do is we tell stories. I mean, it's storytelling. I mean, you're talking about history, and if you can, that's what people love when you get into, not only modern coins, but definitely the older numismatics. The story behind it is what that's really the sizzle. That's not the steak. That's the sizzle. That's what people want. That's what they want to hear. And it pulls them in. And then when they receive that coin, and they, I love it when people do, after they receive a coin and they do some research on it, and I found out about this and then this, and for higher end coins, sometimes I've sent out books with the coin explaining the whole history of what was happening at that time and the reason why these coins were created, things like that. And that's really what sells the coins. It's not just, hey, I have XYZ and for this price, and you should buy it just because you should. No, there's a lot of story behind it, and that's part of it. And of course, completing sets, and everyone has reasons why they buy coins. One thing I wanted to mention too with customers, um, and getting new customers, there's hot spots in the United States, and I can't explain why this is, but there's certain areas, and I'm not going to say where they are because it's a trade secret of ours. But there's
Mhm.
certain towns, there's counties, there's just areas in the United States, city, and they're not cities, they're just towns, basically large towns, maybe small cities, where it just seems there's a lot of coin buyers, and so I don't know why that happens that way, but like a few areas in Texas and Louisiana and
Mhm.
Missouri and Illinois, um, there's these little hot spots, and
Interesting.
so we've tried focusing on those hot spots in the past, sending out mailers, you know, that always works to bring in new business, but nowadays people get so much junk mail on top of it that it's the noise thing, right? It's the
Yeah.
same as the social media noise. It's just older noise. It's a different kind of noise.
Mhm.
And so how do you differentiate yourself? That's the $1 million question.
Yeah. Gotta find ways to stand out. Yeah, I mean, there's just a ton of people. It's just, I guess, the personalities on screen and being able to just put the content out there consistently. I mean, that's build a brand. We've seen that with Tracks NYC, or like I think some people, I would say, like Apemex social media presence on different platforms kind of falling behind. I've seen CAC do really well on Facebook. Like Coinless, I think it was a coin something. A lot of those guys are on TikTok, on Bullion Shark, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just finding your platform and niche, and really just kind of putting your feet in there and consistently, like always on those platforms. Um,
Yep, yep.
yeah.
That's the way. One thing I think that it was a suggestion by Alexander,
Mm,
who works here.
mm,
And I like the suggestion. He was like, "Why don't you start? You guys have all these platforms that you're on with your show.
mm,
Especially YouTube." He's like, "You should start doing because I am very knowledgeable with coins and
right.
and history in general. Like I don't listen to the radio. I listen. My girlfriend is always like, you never listen to music. I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm listening to, right now I love this channel. It's called History That Doesn't Suck. Dan Carlin's History That Doesn't Suck. But he's a history professor, and he just goes
Mm,
throughout. And to me, that's enjoyable. Like I love that. So his
mm,
suggestion was, why don't you start doing short videos, like for however long they are, 10, 15, 20-minute videos, where you pick out a specific coin, specific year, and just go deep into that coin and tell a story. And I'm like, that's a pretty good idea. I would like to do that. And
yeah.
just, get real granular about not only the coin, not only what was happening, just go what was happening at that time in our country, in the world,
Mm,
and reasons why that particular coin was produced, the reason why the mintage was high, maybe reason why the mintage was low, what was happening at the U.S. Mint. There's just so many different things that could be
mm,
spoken about that I think people would find interesting. But it would purely be for entertainment and education. I'm not like a hype man, and that's I'm not with what do they say nowadays? People have like a 30-second what's the word for it? 30-second, like that's as long as they can
attention
focus.
span. Yeah.
Attention span. Yeah.
Mm,
And
yeah.
so,
Pretty much.
but based off of our client base, I want customers that have a longer attention span. I
Hmm.
want customers that, can sit and have a conversation for 45 minutes about a coin.
Yeah.
Um, that's those are the people that have the money to spend, on the top coins.
Yeah, I think when it comes to wealth, in a sense, it creates peace, which then people have time. So, in that sense, people are not feeling like life's fleeting. And it's just like the younger generation, everyone, at least the consensus I got is that they feel like their life is fleeting all the time. So, that mindset goes with the media they consume, the food they consume, the people they are surrounded around. Um, yeah, it's the low attention span kind of mindset. But I think there's value across the board, especially like even if we don't have buyers who are coming from like the younger generation, educating them to become those people. Um, and so the formats I see, that's exactly kind of the pain point that I want to fulfill is that 10 to 20 minute gap of content, which I've stated before, like creating bigger chunks because it goes from like live to shorts, and that's where I kind of fell short, I guess to say, is that there's a middle gap of like an episode, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. People have time to listen to a podcast real quick, um, easily consumable, but still able to kind of have a topic, per se. So I think that would be good to have where we talk about one or two coins on the podcast that kind of fulfill this kind of specific coins, where I can kind of cut some of that content and then put it into smaller format.
Sure.
Yeah, and yeah, because we're coming to the point of where our content is. We've touched pretty much everything, at this point. The buyer one is fairly new, I guess, but we've touched across multiple, but mostly it's like safeguards and you know early Americana. What coins are looked over, and what are key dates, and yeah. So it'd be nice
Yeah.
to be specific
Yeah.
on the coin. Yeah,
We've
that's
been
good.
very broad. We've painted with a wide brush, and
Yeah, pretty much.
and we've covered a lot of issues. A lot of subjects, I should say.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it'd be good to start getting granular on some
Mhm.
items and just have like let's say that like start with like the 1933 double eagle, right?
Mhm.
The St. Gordons.
Yeah.
That's there's so much history in that one coin, and then
Mhm.
there's so many other coins besides that we could really just have a whole episode about, and
True.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think that's the focus now is specific coins going forward, and then for guests, obviously, we'll have like a conversation about what their expertise is, so stuff like that. So we'll switch it up and maybe come back to like safeguards, and periodically every so often we'll come back and touch on those things. But yeah, that's good. That's a good feedback. I like that, and that
And
keeps us
of course,
fresh.
we'll keep people abreast of, we'll keep our viewers abreast of what's coming
Mhm.
out,
Mhm.
specials that we might be doing, promotions, things of that nature, because there are important coins that are being released this year that we absolutely need to talk about, and that people should be purchasing. So that there's a lot we could do there, and what's great, Dustin, is that we have this is our show, so we have the liberty to do it however we want, change it up
Oh
however
yeah.
we want, and keep it entertaining. And hopefully, for our viewers, continue to bring value, to bring education and value to them, and
Mhm.
so that they get something out of it. And for our viewers that do, please continue to like us, follow us on all of our different platforms, because that enables us to continue
What
doing
about
what we're doing.
click, click, click. Like, subscribe, hit the post notifications, stay up to date on all platforms. And yeah, we'll touch into our sponsor before we get into community questions. Today's sponsor is Fast Checks IO. Appreciate you guys always being here for us. If you guys haven't checked out Fast Checks IO, they offer e-checks. If you guys are in this snail mail race to purchase things on different platforms, or you even buy a coin from us, sending checks in the mail takes so long. We're in 2026. halfway to 2027, we shouldn't have these kind of hurdles, per se. There's so many ways to transact money, but e-checks are the way to go. And the beauty about what fast checks is easy sign up. You can send some e-checks today just going by fastchecks.io, or you can sign up for was that $29.99. I'll go down there, $29.95. You get yourself some 20 e-checks a month. Obviously it will pay for itself, especially if you're looking for one of these coins that we offer, and a lot of times there's only one of them. And if you're sending e-check right now, boom, we can cash it out, put it in our bank, done. So definitely check out e-checks from fastchecks.io. I appreciate from our sponsor, and always
Thank you, Fast Check.
Thanks, Fast Checks. And then I'm gonna do is pull up our community questions didn't pop up properly this week because I had to kind of work around some stuff, but that's okay. Let's see. Let's go to. I guess I'll just go to the entire screen over here. Let's do that. So we'll just do that. So yeah, here is some community questions. I'll try to zoom into them a little bit here. Let's see what I can do. Okay. So just to plug that in there, 561-310-8341. You need coins at gmail.com. Email us. Check us out. Linktree, American Coin, ACC, eBay, American CC. Find us on Google, Yelp, and Apple Maps. Get some responses. Accurate Coins. Good rising, everybody. Be sure to like and subscribe. Appreciate it. How to convert first-time clients into long-term ones. I guess that's like people have been asking that question.
Treat them right.
Yeah,
that's how you do it. You treat people how you want to be treated, and you'll be amazed at what that does.
Yeah, so make it personal, and take your time. Don't rush them, and educate people on the way, and you'll find yourself in a long-term client. So I've done this myself. Which lead source has brought you the most success?
Probably eBay. We get a lot of business off of eBay.
Yeah, eBay is a good place. People got bots. Don't like them. How do you build trust with someone buying their first graded coins?
Well, you have to. If it's the first time they're buying graded coins, you need to be. You have to be verbal. You need to be able to explain clearly what it is that the person is going to be purchasing. Make sure that they understand the significance of it, if that's the case. Make the process seamless, and that way, and also have the product delivered in a very timely fashion. So from the time that the order's paid to the time that the product is in the customer's hands, and then follow up with that customer with a phone call. Oh, Jim, hey, Dustin, I see that you received your call. I'm sorry, I see you received your coin. Just calling to make sure that you like it, that it's everything that I told you it was going to be, and that works wonders.
All right, sounds good. My screen's all choppy. Okay, it's a little bit better now. All right, let's see. Do you prefer buying directly from a dealer or through marketplaces like eBay? I guess that's the question for the other people. I'm assuming you mean like, is it better? I guess the retrospect be, is it better for a client to purchase directly through our eBay than it is than directly? I guess that would be.
No, it's better to buy direct because we can give you a better deal than the coins that we list on eBay.
True. Yeah, 100%.
Think of eBay as a middleman, right? You got to cut out the middleman.
And they just gouge us. Just yeah. I prefer directly. I always try to get the clients, hey, give your better percentage. Offer them like another 5%. It's the best way to go because you can pass on those, the fees essentially to the client, and in essence, they get a discount because we're not spending so much on the fees.
Yep.
So yeah, we're all getting a good better pricing. So I definitely recommend directly. But of course, confidence through eBay. I totally get it. Um, how often should dealers stay in touch with their existing customers?
That depends on the customer and how often that customer buys.
Hmm.
So it's really, that's a variable there. There's a lot,
Yeah, it all depends. Yeah, I try to keep up like once a week, every couple of weeks. If there's something that's like pending or pressing, obviously it's like that next day or second day. Like you don't want to wait too long if you already have like a package on the way per se, or if they're needing like the banking information or stuff like that, or there's an email or there's some type of discrepancy or something. Obviously you want them to immediately contact them, as soon as possible. Um, but yeah, if you're catching up with your clients, yeah, give them a call every once a week, every couple weeks, just to touch bases. It's kind of how I do it. Um, yeah, it doesn't hurt, but yeah, you don't want to bug them too much at the same time. There's a balance. Um, if you could improve one part of the buying experience, what would it be?
that's a really good question. Improve one part of the buying experience.
Hmm.
I would say, what would be great? I would love if we could FaceTime customers more instead of
Yeah,
just being voices on the phone. Have an
true.
interactive conversation so we can look at each other in the eyes, and just that would
Hmm.
be great.
I agree. I think that's something I will push more in the future for clients. And then, I mean, I'm just seeing some of my clients there's some of them are actually not too old. They're like, yes, I have some are like 60 something, but like this last client I have is like probably in his 50s or something. I don't know. It just seems younger. Um, yeah, I think it just kind of goes with the age, maybe, or maybe just the knowing how to use technology. So, um, yeah, that's something I want to push is having that video chat. It's just easier, and it's just I get to
Yeah.
connect with them. Like I like that idea. Great show, guys. Appreciate it, Quentin. Yeah, that's the end of that's how the cookie crumbles. We're at the end here. Appreciate fast checks always. You're going on a hiatus next week, so you won't be here.
I am. I
So
will
we
be
might
away,
have
but we're gonna have someone from the company here
cool.
that's going to take my spot next week. I'm not exactly sure who I'm going to pick, but they
Cool.
will be knowledgeable.
Yeah, so we'll have somebody from the team. We'll get some more insights on what they're doing, their background, what they're doing with the company, and how are they scaling, and just kind of picking their brain. Um, yeah, I always like to see team members on here. Um, but yeah, we're at the end of the show. Appreciate everyone being here. Be sure to come back 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Thursdays, hit the like, subscribe. American Coin ACC. You can find us on pretty much every platform. 561-310-8341. Uniquecoins at gmail.com. Fastchecks.io is our sponsor. And yeah, any words of wisdom? Any final parting words for the week? Anything to look forward to?
I'm going to Hawaii, so aloha.
Aloha. Yes, brother. Yes. Yeah. Aloha to all those out there. If you guys see John out in Hawaii, maybe see him at a luau or something. Um, you know?
But I will be hitting some coin dealers while I'm out there because I want to
Oh.
try to find some Hawaiian coins.
Oh.
See if there's
Okay.
any. I have a couple here, but there's a nickel, there's a dime, there's a quarter. I have the quarter. There's a half dollar. The nickel is the super rare one. That's like really hard to find. So who knows? You never know. I might find one.
If you guys are on here and you see John, definitely let him know if you have any Hawaiian specific coins. We're out
Let me
there
know.
looking for it. All right. Well, that's the end of the road here. Appreciate everyone being here. We're gonna have a show next week, and then I think the week after that we'll talk about ancient coins, and then after that we'll have our panel with previous guests as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. And yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a great day, evening, afternoon, weekend. And if we don't see you guys for the holidays, happy holidays. 4th of July is coming up.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th, man. That's 250th. So yeah, get a hold of us. You guys are looking at anything specific for the commemorative 250th anniversary of the United States. And yeah, we'll help you out. And yeah, I'll see you guys on the next
side.
And we'll see you guys next week. See you.